All right, what is up with this new booking system for St. Peter's Basilica? Many of you have noticed that there is a new website for St. Peter's Basilica that allows you to book some of your visits here. On today's video, I'm going to explain all about this new booking system and how you can book and what you can book and what it all means. I want to explain to you how to book all of your visits to the Vatican using the official sites, which I'm linking to in the description below. It's 2025, so whether you're visiting Rome for the Jubilee or not, you may be wondering how to visit the Vatican, or even if you should visit it at all. First of all, yes, you should visit the Vatican in 2025, Jubilee or no Jubilee. In a separate video, I'll be sharing how to visit St. Peter's Basilica as a pilgrim and how to book your visit to the Holy Doors. In today's video, I want to focus on the new booking system of St. Peter's Basilica, but I'll also share how to book your visit to the Vatican Museums. First, how to book your visit to the Vatican Museums, which is where the Sistine Chapel is. If you are visiting the Vatican and you want to see the Sistine Chapel, you must book a visit to the Vatican Museums. I have lots of videos on this channel all about visiting the Vatican Museums, different tours, my strategies for seeing the Sistine Chapel without crowds, so you may want to check out that playlist, which is linked in the description below. For the purposes of today's video, I just want to tell you how to book your visit. The Vatican Museums are a completely separate entity from St. Peter's Basilica, even though they are both inside of Vatican City. By the way, if you're not sure what I mean by Vatican City, you can check out my ebook, which is also linked in the description below. You know, often when I'm here in St. Peter's Basilica or in St. Peter's Square, I can hear people asking, where are the Vatican Museums? Where's the Sistine Chapel? And they have no idea that it's on the complete other side of Vatican City. And so another thing you'll find linked in the description below is my custom map of Vatican City, where you can clearly see where the Vatican Museums are in relation to St. Peter's Basilica, St. Peter's Square, and where the different entrances are. Externally, they're about a 10 to 20 minute walk apart, depending on how fast you walk. I do want to talk about this new system for booking a visit to St. Peter's Basilica, but quickly I'm going to tell you how to book your visit to the Vatican Museums. The Vatican Museums has its own website. It's museivaticani.va. Don't worry, that's linked in the description below. All official Vatican websites end in .va. Any other website you see that ends in .com, .org, .info, etc., these are all just blogs or agencies whose goal is to sell you tickets. The Vatican Museums are open from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. They are closed on Sundays except for the last Sunday of the month when they are open and free, but with reduced hours. You cannot book a visit to the Vatican Museums on the free Sunday, but you can book a visit to the Vatican Museums every other day of the week. In my opinion, it is worth booking a ticket in advance, even though there is a €5 surcharge. Yes, you can absolutely head down to the Vatican Museums, stand in line, and purchase your ticket on site. But I do think it is worth booking in advance and paying that surcharge because you can pick the date and time that you want. And as I have suggested in my other videos, the best times are either 8 a.m. right when they open or last entry, 5:30 p.m., so you can go right when they close. And the reason for this is that the tour crowds are pretty much like a bell curve, where you're going to find the smallest crowds first thing in the morning and at the very end of the day. So by booking in advance, you have peace of mind knowing that you can get the time and date that you want. And frankly, in recent years, there's almost always a really long line to buy tickets on site. So why not save yourself the aggravation and your precious vacation time and book these tickets in advance? I just told you what the official site was for the Vatican Museums, but if you cannot find tickets for the date and time you want and you do want to book in advance, you can use a reseller. These are legit. You can use Get Your Guide, tickets, etc. I'm linking to some of those in the description below. By the way, if you do decide to book a tour of the Vatican Museums, I would be grateful if you book through one of my links. When you book through one of my links, I earn a small commission at no additional cost to you, and it really helps to support this channel. And remember that I only suggest tours that I've taken myself and that I can personally recommend. By the way, speaking of the Vatican Museums, you might also want to consider booking a visit to the Vatican Gardens. The Vatican Gardens is an oasis at the Vatican, and it's a wonderful thing to visit, and it includes entrance to the Vatican Museum, so you can visit those after your garden visit. That's something you can only book in advance, and you can only book it on the official Vatican website. I've done a dedicated video all about how to visit the Vatican Gardens, so you can check that out if you want to know more details. So now we come to the part about visiting St. Peter's Basilica. St. Peter's Basilica is normally free to visit. It's always free to visit, but there is a new booking system, and I'm going to talk about what that's all about and what it's like. Inside of St. Peter's Basilica, there are 3 places you can visit. Each of these 3 places requires a ticket, but only one of them actually requires advanced booking. When you visit this new, really well-designed website for St. Peter's Basilica, you'll see that you can book all 4 of these sites. St. Peter's Basilica itself, St. Peter's Dome or the Cupola, the Museum of the Treasury, and St. Peter's Tomb, also called the Scavi or Vatican Necropolis. The Vatican Necropolis is not to be confused with the Vatican Grottos. The grottos are also inside of St. Peter's Basilica, but they're free to visit. This is simply where many popes are buried, but it is not the same thing as St. Peter's Tomb. Yes, I am coming to the part about how to book St. Peter's Basilica. I just want to wrap up talking about how you can book your visit to St. Peter's Tomb. As you can see on this Vatican website, again, it's ending in .va, you can book your visit to the Scavi or St. Peter's Tomb right from here. Some of you may remember that the only way to book this visit used to be that you had to send a fax to the Vatican until not very long ago. Luckily, there is this new system right here on their website. All you have to do is fill it in, send it in, and wait for a response. By the way, another new exciting thing about visiting St. Peter's Tomb, they've lowered the minimum age requirement to 10 years old. So on this page where you have these 4 options, the Scavi is the only one of them that you can't actually book on the site. You can send in a request and you'll have to wait for them to get back to you. Many of you write me asking when can you expect to hear back. There is no specific time. It depends on how far ahead you are requesting these tickets. You can try to request them as far in advance as you want, like 6 to 8 months ahead. They might write you back and say that it's too soon. So just be patient. They should be getting back to you, even if it takes a few weeks or longer. So these other 3 things that you can book on the site, St. Peter's Basilica, St. Peter's Dome, and the Museum of the Treasury. Frankly, you don't need to book any of these. You can simply show up here at St. Peter's Square, go through security, enter St. Peter's Basilica, enjoy this beautiful Renaissance church, and you're done. Once you're inside, if you decide that you want to climb the dome, you can simply stand in line and pay for a ticket. And if you want to visit the Museum of the Treasury, which I actually do recommend, then you just go into where it says Museum of the Treasury, buy your ticket, and you're in. But booking in advance does have an advantage. When you go to book your visit to St. Peter's Basilica, they're going to ask you to put in a date range. So fill in the dates that you're going to be in Rome, or if it's just one specific date, that's the only day you can go, then just put in that as your date range. Then do a search for the tickets that are available during that date range. This is a new booking system, and as far as I can tell, they don't run out of tickets. They also seem to have tickets for every time slot on the hour. But you cannot book for same-day entry. In fact, you cannot book for less than 3 days in advance. For example, I was trying to book my visit for last Saturday at 9 in the morning. I was booking 3 days in advance, but it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So when I was looking for times available for my visit 3 days from then, it showed me visits available from 4 p.m. When you go to book this ticket, you'll have to register, and you can do this at any time during the purchase process. When you book your visit, you're going to get 3 emails, one after the other, one each day. The first email is simply a confirmation that you booked your ticket. The second email is going to contain your QR code that you'll need when you enter on your date and time. The third and final email you receive will be your activation code for the audio guide. The audio guide is technically what you're paying for when you book this ticket. And the way it works is that you have to use your smartphone or device and your own headphones. So you can just book a visit to St. Peter's Basilica on its own for €7. You can also book a visit to the Cupola or the Museum of the Treasury, both of which come with that €7 entry to St. Peter's Basilica. The benefit of booking the Cupola or the Museum of the Treasury in advance means you simply skip the line to purchase these tickets on site. On the other hand, the benefit to booking a visit to St. Peter's Basilica for €7 is that you do get to sort of skip the line. I say sort of because, as I've talked about with the Colosseum and the Vatican Museums and pretty much any other entity for which you can purchase tickets in advance, nobody can skip security. So when you see things that say skip the line to the Vatican Museums or the Colosseum, you're skipping the line to purchase tickets, but not to go through security. Nobody can skip that line. In the case of the Basilica, there isn't really a line to skip because there are no tickets that you can purchase to enter St. Peter's Basilica. It's free to visit this church. But when you have that reservation, your QR code, you do get privileged access and ostensibly a shorter security line. So here's how it works. You've got your ticket on your phone, you've got your QR code in sight, and you arrive where the long lines are to go through security on Via Ottaviano. By the way, these lines are now outside of St. Peter's Square. They're no longer in the square. If you're coming from the Ottaviano metro stop or you're walking over here from the Vatican Museums, you will see these lines anyway on Via Ottaviano right under Bernini's colonnade. You'll see in front of you two big arches. Stay all the way to the right. If you can't figure out where to go, you're not sure where the line is, don't ask just anybody. The police do not know. The guys working at the souvenir stand do not know. The volunteers for the Jubilee also do not know. So if you're not sure where to go, make sure to ask somebody who is working for the Vatican. You can tell that somebody's working for the Vatican by something they're wearing. Something like a yellow vest or perhaps a lanyard with an ID that's hanging down right in the middle of their chest. In any case, you're going to want to take the farthest line to the right and walk past the souvenir stand. Once you do that, you may be asked where you're going, either by a Vatican staff or perhaps by one of the police there, in which case they will show you where to go. From there, you're going to go through a little tent. The Vatican staff will scan your QR code and you're good to go. Then you simply go through security, which, as I said, is a much shorter line than the big security lines of people who have not booked. I've actually done this twice. I came this morning, which is a Monday morning. I got here at 8:30 for a 9 a.m. visit. There was nobody in the main security line and definitely nobody in the privileged line. So the takeaway there is that if you're here in the middle of the week, early morning in winter, you may not need to do this. Unless you do want the audio guide, in which case it's worth it. At this point, I'm in. I can simply go inside the Basilica if I want, or I can head to the basement where I'm going to find the bathroom, the entrance to the cupola, the dome, the entrance to the grottos, and the elevator if I want to use one. But as you can see, there's also a ramp, so you don't need the elevator if you're in a wheelchair or have a baby stroller. You can use the ramp. I also did this on Saturday in mid-February. You guys, even in low season, in winter, on the weekends, it is packed here at the Vatican. So at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, I arrived here. I stood in the regular line to go through security, and it was about a 20-25 minute wait. Then I left, came back out, and went through with my ticket. I know it might seem crazy that I'm doing all of this, but I really want to have the experience so that I can share it with you and show you what it's like. By the way, I did not go in exactly at 4 p.m. on Saturday, and this morning I didn't go in at 9 a.m. I went in at 8:30 a.m. I did ask several Vatican staff members about this, and they told me that your booking time is more of an indication. And they told me that my 4 p.m. booking time meant that I could go in anytime in late afternoon up until closing. I will say that going in on Saturday with the huge crowds and the long lines with my privilege ticket felt like a privilege. I walked right past everybody waiting in that long line. I went right through the little tent, and I had 2 people ahead of me in security. So on that occasion, it was super worth it to have booked my ticket for €7. I think for a lot of people, one of the advantages of this new booking system is that you can book the cupola in advance. To visit the cupola, there are really 2 lines normally, one to pay for your tickets and the other to stand in the line and wait for the elevator. So this advanced booking of the cupola, the dome, means you do not have to stand in line to purchase tickets. But it does not allow you to skip the line for getting onto the elevator. If you book the cupola, it does come with that €7 audio guide, and of course it comes with that privileged entrance to get into the Basilica, because the only way to climb the dome is to first enter the Basilica. You can enter the Basilica and not climb the dome, but you cannot climb the dome without first entering the church. They give you these instructions about getting here 90 minutes before your cupola time, but frankly, you could decide to do the cupola first and then visit the Basilica, or the other way around. Either way, when you come down from the cupola, you wind up inside of St. Peter's Basilica in any case. The Museum of the Treasury is another site that you can easily purchase tickets for on site, but you can also book them in advance and just save yourself the time if you want to. Once you go through security, you're really done with the whole booking thing. They send you these instructions about going to point C on the inside. There's really nothing else to do, except of course to activate your audio guide. Specific to this year of the Jubilee, I'm going to have a dedicated video all about this, but one of the options that you have right now when you enter St. Peter's Basilica is the option to go through the Holy Door. You do not have to go through the Holy Door, you can simply go through the main entrance. To go through the main entrance, you can get there either by taking the side steps up from the basement if you stop there first, or right after security, you're going to see people indicating where to go into the Basilica, either through the Holy Doors or the main entrance. To enter the Holy Doors directly from the loggia, the only way you can do this is if you take the pilgrim's route. But if you didn't take the pilgrim's route, there is a dedicated line to go through the Holy Door. There are volunteers on site to show you how to do it. So you do not need to book the Holy Door to go through it. You can also go through it multiple times by simply making loops from inside the Basilica out onto the loggia, in through the Holy Door, and back again. And that €7 ticket, which is the topic of this video, is unrelated to the Jubilee. It's just to get you entrance to St. Peter's Basilica and the audio guide. If you do not want to book this ticket to St. Peter's Basilica, you can just show up here, go through security, and that's it. If you want to skip the line to St. Peter's Basilica, but you do not want to buy this ticket, or you didn't buy this ticket, you can also do so in one of two ways. The first is to book your visit to St. Peter's tomb. When you take that tour, you end up inside the Basilica and you do not have to go through security because you will have gone through security to go inside of St. Peter's tomb. The second way to skip the line to St. Peter's Basilica without buying this ticket that we're talking about is to take a tour of the Vatican Museums that includes the shortcut into St. Peter's Basilica. There are several companies that offer tours that take this shortcut. The one that I'm specifically recommending is linked in the description below. And of course, as I mentioned, if you come here in the dead of winter, if you come at 7 a.m. right when the Basilica opens, if you come in the middle of the week, you're not going to find any lines. So how much time should you allocate for queuing to get into the Basilica? If you're here in high season, in the middle of the day, and you didn't book this ticket, allow for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half to stand in that security line. And while my experience has been really good, I am doing this in winter, so make sure to account for high season and bigger crowds. I'm often asked if you should visit the museums first or the Basilica first. This is subjective. If you take a tour of the Vatican Museums that also includes the shortcut into St. Peter's Basilica, then it's decided for you. And once you're in the Basilica, you could visit the grottos, climb the dome, etc. But if you do not book that tour that takes the shortcut from the Vatican Museums into St. Peter's Basilica, you are going to have to visit them separately. And it's up to you to decide which one you want to visit first. Just make sure to allow for time for getting between the two sites. You may even want to visit them on separate days. Well, I think this new ticket for St. Peter's Basilica is a game changer. What do you think? Have you tried it? Do you plan to try it? Drop me a line in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. To see how to visit the Vatican during the Jubilee, how to visit it as a pilgrim or not, how to book your visit through the Holy Doors, check out my video right here. And to see my secret for visiting the Vatican Museums and having the Sistine Chapel almost all to yourself, don't miss my video right here.